Okay, the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b. Hopefully you remember from the m, that's your slope. And the new thing is the b is the y-intercept. So if we take a look at example 1, state the slope and y-intercept of a, y equals 2/5 x plus 3. You want to make sure it's in this form, which it is. That would mean that the slope is 2/5 and the y-intercept, that's where it crosses the y. If we were to graph it, it would cross the y at 3. That point is actually 0, 3. So let's take a look at b. Well, we want it to be in this form, which it is pretty much in that form. Sorry, that should have been a b at the end there. But it doesn't look like there's this part at all. There's just a b. So what could eliminate my x? What could I put in and multiply by x to make it disappear? And if I multiply anything by 0, if I were to put in 0 next to my x, this would be 0 plus 4. That's how I'd be left with just a 4 for my y. So that's where that equation's coming from. M is 0, and my b, my y-intercept, is this 4. But keep in mind it's 0, 4. It's where it crosses the y-axis. Part C takes a little bit of work. So to get the y alone, because all of these have this, I need it in this form. Y is alone on one side. So I need to start with trying to get this alone. If I do the opposite of having 2x on a side by taking away 2x, then you have to divide every single part at the end by 2 to get y by itself. Negative 2 over 2 is negative 1x, reduces to 2. So my slope is m, that's negative 1, and my y-intercept is 0, 2. And the last one, again, we want it to look like y equals mx plus b. So I always try to get my y alone. I do the opposite. If subtracting x is adding x, 0 plus x on this side is just x equals 2y. And divide by 2 on both sides. Y equals x over 2. So let's kind of switch the order of that so it looks a little bit better. Y equals x over 2. So I want it to be in this form. Y equals mx plus b. There must be a number in front of the x holding the place. It's like an invisible 1. Now when you look at this number in front of the x, it's actually a half. So my slope for this one is 1/2. What number must I be adding if nothing's there? If I add 0, then it doesn't change anything. So my y-intercept must be 0, 0.